What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house again. Uh, we grinding this thing out. We're just trying to come in and give you some more content. We know the NFL trade deadline came and went, and we got the news for you. Everything didn't go like we thought it was going to go, or like the experts thought it would go. Oh, there were some trades made, just not the ones we thought. And I'll give you the details of what went down today and some off the field news today that is just, and I'm gonna give you my commentary on that in classic Uncle Fred rant style. I'm gonna do that, and we'll go on from here. But let's just go ahead and get started. Go ahead and hit that like and hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the Uncle Fred experience, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Uncle Fred is committed to give you the best of NFL, Dallas Cowboy, Alabama Crimson Tide, and other sports content. And the best of my ability, and I'm going to give you what all the other big boys give you, just at half the price. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment in the Uncle Fred experience. And let's go ahead and get started with this. Of course, like we said in the opening and the teaser, we let you know that the NFL trade deadline kind of came 3 o'clock cutoff time. And there were some heavy movers that folks thought was going to be moved to Deshaun Watson, OBJ, Allen Robinson, Ronald Jones, all these guys. Marlon Mack. It was believed that they were going to move Marlon Mack because the Titans want him, but they ain't going to move him to somebody within the division. They ain't going to do nothing that stupid. But anyhow, let's go on here. Of course, the Deshaun Watson, the NFL trade deadline came and went with Deshaun Watson staying put in Houston, parked in the garage. Okay, nowhere to play. All right. Now, we had told you before that owner Stephen Ross of the Dolphins was wanting to make a trade, but he wanted some assurances. Okay, from the legal front. So he was trying to encourage Deshaun Watson to take a plea deal. Now, I think the number of women, and when he talks about the criminal and civil stuff that's going on with him, is up to like 32 women now. So they got him on the phone with Deshaun Watson today. Owner Stephen Ross, they put him in contact. The Houston Texans, gave them their permission to allow him to talk to them. And that was his attempt to sort of try to push the trade in the terms of trying to make Deshaun Watson, or encourage, I shouldn't say encourage him to, or why, he so against to taking a deal, a plea deal. And of course, Deshaun Watson stayed stuck to his guns and was like, no, I'm not taking no deal. I'm innocent, and I'm not gonna cop to being 75% guilty or 65% guilty, and we just gonna mitigate the difference and make some sort of payment. And he would not budge. So as a result of that, and of course they had no deal actually in place in terms of which I thought they had some other things going on, because it was believed that all of the paperwork had been signed. It was just a matter of whether or not they was just going to make the deal or not. But apparently they didn't have any deal. It was contingent upon this particular thing going on, and so Deshaun said no. I'm not admitting to anything. I'm totally innocent of these charges, and so. I don't know what will become of him, because at some point he's not playing. I don't expect the Houston Texans to continue to pay him. I don't know. I don't know where this goes, but as it relates to our story today, he was not traded. He's still a Houston Texan. Don't know for how long. Don't know what the future holds for him. Miami Dolphins said they're going forward with their young quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, which is my guy. And so we're going to see what happens going from there. So Deshaun Watson, no-go. All right. Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, I got a lot to say about Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr., he went to the uh, Cleveland Browns 2019. Was supposed to make the Cleveland Browns this rock star team. And, they had some success last year, but it went on without OBJ. And for what I've been always have been trying to tell folks, OBJ just don't fit in Cleveland. Cleveland is like a blue collar lunch pail type of environment, Midwest, Midwest values. Just, and OBJ is sort of, he's metropolitan. He's, just didn't fit, man. Didn't fit. And it didn't fit with Baker. And then it was believed they was going to make it, but they didn't get any kind of trade value that they thought was going to be beneficial to them. What they may end up doing, they may just outright cut him. But I don't know. I mean, all I know is he's still got talent. It don't mesh with what Cleveland's doing. Kevin Stefanski runs a run-centric offense that's concentrated on the run game and play action. And anyway, what has happened is, and many men I've known, but they have released on Instagram. I think that's the vehicle they chose in social media to release this video. But Odell Beckham Sr., which is Odell Beckham's dad, released like a 11, 12-minute video today highlighting OBJ's plays where Baker Mayfield has missed him on throws. It's like an 11, 12-minute video, and basically they're trying to say, get my son out of here because he needs somewhere to go where a quarterback that knows how to play, so basically it's like, so that's like I don't like it because, I mean, dude, that's 20, 25, 26-year-old man. What's your dad doing trying to campaign for you? That's little league to me. I'm sorry, I'm old school. That's little league. My daddy coming to my place of work, telling my boss to give me a day off. What kind of foolishness is that? And then not on top of that, LeBron James got to chime his butt in. I know some of y'all love LeBron James. Sometimes he be in stuff he ain't got no business in. He up there chiming in on the stuff. Free OBJ. So I don't like none of the stuff. It all has diva-ness all over it. I'm anti-diva. With everything I have, I'm anti-diva. I see a diva on my team, I'm cutting him immediately. I just don't roll like that. But so I don't know what's going to be happening, but I know he didn't get traded. I know they was talking about some NFC contenders. I know I talked about New Orleans, but New Orleans really don't have a quarterback. We think he bad with Baker. We think he's going to get with Trevor Siemian. And so you're talking about Green Bay. That might be okay, with Aaron Rodgers, but, he a diva too. So I don't know how two divas work on the same team. And, Baker kind of a diva too. So, that's why that don't work. You just can't have two divas. You can get away with one. And then the Rams, I can kind of see that since now that, Deshaun Jackson was not traded. He was just cut. So now they got a place for him on that team now. So I don't know if they'll do that. He's still owed about $8 million a year. He's out of his guaranteed money, and his production has not been. He's down like 38 yards a game in receptions. Now, his daddy should have showed. Now, Baker should go and put a video. Not many kind of Baker fan, but Baker should put together a video of all the drops that Odell has. He got some drops. I say some pretty glaring drops on fourth downs and stuff. Keep drives alive in the games they could have won. Odell Beckham dropped him. He's supposed to have the best hands in the game, right? So anyway, Odell Beckham not traded and anything like that. So those are two that didn't go anywhere. Like I said, Marlon Mack. I think they had some injuries in Indianapolis, and they thought, hey, we better keep this running back depth behind Jonathan Taylor, and so they decided to keep Marlon Mack. And like I said, they weren't going to trade him to the Titans. They ain't that stupid. But the Titans have acquired Adrian Peterson, all 36 years old of Adrian Peterson. Didn't play a lick last year. I signed him to the practice squad. Good luck with that. good luck with that. We'll see how that goes. Adrian Peterson, don't get me wrong, Adrian Peterson is a bad boy. Adrian Peterson, 36 years old. He only a few years younger than me. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Now, some of the trades that did go, like I said, none of these were earth-shattering, but hey, it does make some of these teams more, fluid. Make some of them, dumping salaries so they can get more draft picks. And some teams that think they've got, they're kind of close. It kind of, gives them much needed, things. First of all, the Broncos trade Kerry Vincent Jr., who was a draft pick they had this year in cornerback, to the Eagles for a 6th-round pick of the 2022 draft. So now the Eagles are stocking up on cornerback. Now, this guy hasn't played at all this year. So, maybe they saw something in the film. Maybe this is a guy they wanted to have drafted this year, but the Eagles, the Chiefs jumped in front of them. Because remember, they traded, they got Tay Gowan from the Arizona Cardinals in that Zach Ertz trade earlier that I reported on. Okay. So they got a couple of young corners that's supposed to be, maybe kind of promising. So we'll see what goes with that. So yeah, they trade K. Vincent Jr. to the Eagles for 6th-round 2022 draft. Then this was kind of a big one. Steelers trade linebacker pass rusher Melvin Ingram Jr. To the Kansas City Chiefs for a 6th-round 2022 draft. Now, the news is on that is that it's not that the Steelers were unhappy with Ingram. Now, he's missed a couple of games here and there. He had fallen out of favor with the Chargers because he couldn't stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's a menace when he's healthy. But the thing is, I think he had started to lose snaps to, I think it's Alonzo Highsmith, the defensive, the linebacker and edge rusher, who's playing ahead of him. He started to, lose snaps. So he voiced his displeasure. And I think he kind of like, look, man, this thing ain't working. I want to go somewhere where I can play and make an impact. So they granted him his wish. Now the Steelers, this is going to deplenish their linebacker depth. And they know that, T.J. Watt, has been hurt some this year. And we also know that Devin Bush has been hurt some this year also, as well as many others, Highsmith as well. So, you need as many of them guys to rush the passer as possible. But the Chiefs get much needed pass rush help now. So, to go with Chris Jones and Frank Clark, now they got some, up front, they got some pass rushing and some, and some defensive line pressure and stuff they can use now to help that much maligned defense. So good for the Chiefs. I guess the Steelers will be all right. We'll see. So we'll see what happens with that. The Texans, being the fire sale that it is. Now, they had talked they was going to get rid of Brandon Cooks as well, but that didn't go. But they did. I don't know if I reported to you now, but I know they traded earlier in the week. They traded Mark Ingram back to the New Orleans Saints. So he's back with his Thunder and Lightning teammate Alvin Kamara. So they did their little comedy routine after they went over Tampa Bay. So they back together again, and he back with his boy the defensive lineman. That's his boy. They do a podcast together called Trust Levels. Real good podcast. I've checked it out a couple times. You know me, I can't names sometimes just leave me. They'll come back to me. But the defensive lineman, it'll come to me. But he's reunited with him, and they are a mess together. And so he goes back to them. So yeah, the Texans trade Charles Omenihu, defensive lineman, to the 49ers for a 2023 6th-round pick. So it continues to be a Jordan. That's his name, Jordan. That's his name. I'll come to be in a minute. But yeah, Jordan. So anyhow, because I know because he's He's Stanley Jordan's son. I remember Stanley Jordan playing back in the 80s and 90s. He was a tight end for the Vikings. So I can't think of his first name there, but I know his last name is Jordan. Yeah, you knew who I'm talking about. But anyway, so getting back to this, so Chiefs also trade. Chiefs kind of busy. They trade guard Laurent Duvernay-Tardif to the Jets for tight end Dan Brown. And this is an interesting one because I thought Tundif was one of the guys that was really instrumental in them winning their Super Bowl. Cameron Jordan. Cam Jordan, that's his name. It come to me. Tell you, sometimes my mind work like that. But getting back to this, he was one of the instrumental offensive linemen when they won their Super Bowl back in 2019. And so, you know, and remember in 2020, he took the year off because he's also a doctor, a registered doctor. He took off and the Chiefs gave him leave to do that. And so he was treating people for COVID related issues and stuff. You know, he's a Canadian, so he's doing some stuff like that. And so he was doing some good work in that regard. So I thought when after that was over, he would come back but they decided to trade him. So traded him to the Jets. So the Jets get much needed offensive line help. And I guess the Chiefs get another tight end to go with Blake Bell and Travis Kelce. So, you know, so like I said, Chiefs were kind of busy in that regard and stuff. So that's pretty much all of the major trades. You know, most of the headlines was the trades that didn't get made. You know, like I said, the OBJ, the Deshaun Watson, the Deshaun Jackson, Marlon Mack, Allen Robinson Jr., Jones, Ronald Jones, Tampa Bay. None of that had happened. Brandon Cooks, none of that happened. Which, you know, some of these players who didn't get it, a lot of them will probably end up being cut. You know, so we'll see what happens with that. So that's really for all there is on the trade deadline, trade rumors. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, we talked about Odell Beckham. We talked about the Chiefs acquiring Melvin Ingram, Broncos. We already talked about that. That was like, you know, a trade from earlier, trading Von Miller to the Rams for a second and third round pick. So the Broncos now have, you know, wow, they got some picks from. They got picks. They got first round, 2 seconds, 2/3, a fourth, and a fifth. You know, as they try to stack that. And like I said, there's different ways teams do it. Now, they obviously the Broncos are stacking up picks because you can use these picks to trade for other things. And we know that the Rams, for instance, don't really care about picks. But the thing about that is, at some point, you got to have picks because that's how you trade for things. Because other teams like picks. So you ain't got to pick to like the 5th round. It's hard for you to trade a much needed, a much desired asset that somebody that you might want from another team, and you ain't got nothing but a 5th and a 6th round pick. A lot of times these guys won't even make the team. You know, what am I gonna do with that? So, because you know there's a dollar value on each level of this draft. Now there's a study that tells you how that thing is done on the first round. Position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5. There's a grade on each one of them, and then your grades in the 5th and 6th round. That's all the draft picks you got. You know, that's just different ways to do it. What it is the Rams are in a win now mode. And it's because that's LA. LA is always in win now because they're in a market that's kind of different from some of the other markets because their fan base, got other things to do. So they're not gonna, how like some sports fans and sports teams support a team when they're doing bad, like the Buffalo Bills, and they're having a great year the last couple of years. But the Bills Mafias sell out. It used to be Rich Stadium. I don't know what it's called now. I'm sure there's a naming right to it now. But in Orchard Park, New York, they sold that out even when the Bills was 4-12. Okay, because that's what they do in Buffalo. But in Los Angeles, man, USC when in the height of the Pete Carroll era, from like 2002 to like 2006, them 5 years, man, you couldn't find a ticket to a USC game because USC like in over like 5 years won like 48 out of 53 games. That's how dominant they were. And the Los Angeles fans, they front runners, you know. So if you don't win, people ain't coming. So they have a different mindset than the other, other regions, and all the LA teams do the same thing. The Lakers do the same thing. That's why they doing what they're doing. They had to go get LeBron, they had to go get AD, they had to go get Russell Westbrook. Why we don't want Buddy Hield. We want Russ Westbrook because he's, big time star. And I don't know if it fits or not, but it's LA. That's what LA does. They trying to win now. Same thing with the Dodgers. They're getting everybody. Now they didn't win this year because the Braves won. But shouts out to the Braves. They won the 2021 World Series. That's what they do right there. But anyway, moving on. And talk about that. But anyway, and so the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Rams, that's what they do. So for the Rams, that's what they do. They're putting an all-win right now mode, and they got a great team. But I think my Cowboys will have something to say about that. Stay tuned. All right. So that being said, now we get to some other news. Sometimes these things that we talk about are not easy to talk about. Like we talked about yesterday about funny. That also was a former Crimson Tide wide receiver and Calvin Ridley. So the news for today is former Crimson Tide wide receiver, current Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III was involved in a two-car accident early Tuesday morning in Las Vegas that resulted in the death of a young lady. And Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III was booked on charges of DUI resulting in substantial bodily harm and reckless driving resulting in a death or subsequent bodily harm in Clark County Detention Center. On Tuesday afternoon, this is when this was booked. He was not allowed to bail for the DUI charge until he meets with a judge, and they have set the bail for reckless driving charge at $5,000. From reporter Ian Rappaport, Henry Ruggs was booked into Clark County Detention Center this afternoon. Here's his booking docket, which I'm not going to get into that. The wide receiver was involved in an accident that resulted in a death Tuesday morning. Police have identified the victim as a 23-year-old woman. Per The Athletic, Ruggs' girlfriend was a passenger in his car during the wreck and sustained substantial injuries, according to Reed. That's The Athletic, Tashawn Reed. That's who Reed is. Okay. The accident involved a Chevy Corvette, which was Ruggs' vehicle, and a Toyota RAV4 occurred at 3:39 a.m. Tuesday morning in Las Vegas. Police said Ruggs was driving at a high rate of speed on a 3-lane road, driving in the center lane, and then merged into the rightmost lane and hit the back of the other vehicle, causing it to set on fire. Goes on to say that Ruggs did remain on the scene, but showed signs of impairment. Per the police, results from the toxicology report was not available at the time of this report, which was at 8 o'clock. He was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at a local hospital. And then as a report we got later this evening, and I was actually at work, and I got this text that the Raiders have released Henry Ruggs. So let me say this. Now, you know, folks can call me an old fogey because I'm 55 years old. I don't mind telling my age. I'm proud of my age. Good Lord, let me live here 55 years. Young people, man, you got to make better choices, man. I've tried to try to give this man the benefit of the doubt, but every way I look at it, it's just reckless and just for lack of a better term, it's stupid. It's just stupid. It makes no sense for that to happen. Okay, and the reason I say it makes no sense because, dude, you are an NFL player. The NFL has resources in place. If you and your girlfriend want to ride around Vegas and go to this place and that place, they have car services for you in these companies. And man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. If I had millions of dollars and stuff, man, I ain't driving myself around. I'm getting in the car and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill out in the car and hang out with whoever with me, and we're gonna chill out, man. That was in my younger days. Now I'm older now. I don't do nothing much of that now, but and then now you got Uber, you got Lyft, you got all these sorts of things. You got taxi services. You got any place you in, you drink, and they'll get you. So man, that's just no excuse for all of the public service announcements, all these things. It's just no excuse for that, man. It's just not. And I mean, not trying to pile on a dude, or nothing like that. But sometimes it's like, man, it's just, I don't. And the thing that gets me is, I'm gonna be done with it. Henry Ruggs comes from Montgomery, Alabama. I don't know much about his family. I've seen pictures and stuff. They seem to be nice, God-fearing, middle-class family. They didn't seem like they're wealthy or well-to-do. And there's a nice middle-class family. Probably, he had some things growing up and whatnot. But I bet you they put a lot of support capital into Henry because they knew he was special enough to go to the University of Alabama, and then special enough to get drafted and all this kind of stuff. And Henry Ruggs had an opportunity to look, man. There's only 1,500 of these jobs in the NFL, and Henry Ruggs was doing so well this year, man. I wish I had looked up his stats. I don't have, but I watched a few of his games. And the first, his rookie year last year, they really was just using him on gadget plays, reverses, and end arounds and those kind of things, trick plays, things like that. Weren't really putting them into any substantial route systems and whatnot. Now this year, I'm starting to see a lot more of that. But there are only 1,500 of those type of people in the in this world that play professional football. Okay, man, you had an opportunity to get your family generational wealth, man. To be able to, I don't know if you had kids or not, but to be able to have your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids be set, take care of your mama and daddy. I'm sure they sacrificed many things so that they could take you, make sure you was at practice, make sure you had everything you needed. And then a night where, you just out fooling around, and then the other side, man, you killed somebody, man. Your recklessness killed somebody. That's somebody's mother, possibly, that you killed. You can't overcome that, So, yeah, that's a sobering thought to the young people out there and the old folks too, because there's some old fools, young fools too. It ain't age discriminate. I'll tell you that. Man, if you feel like you ain't capable of operating a motor, man, call some, ask somebody to come get you, man. You ain't lose no points for that. That's your girlfriend. She already know your limitations. It ain't like you was on your first date, you know. Y'all let them ride y'all around. Y'all go to different places, different casinos, different parties, whatever. Maybe they didn't want folks to know where they was going. But look, but now, like I said, the Raiders have released him. And I mean, for the most part, man, his NFL career may be over before it got started. Drafted in 2020, first wide receiver taken in that draft, taken before CeeDee Lamb, taken before Jerry Jeudy, who was his teammate at Bama, who was considered to be the best wide receiver in football that year, and won all the awards, the Biletnikoff Awards, and all those sorts of things. He won all that stuff. And but he was the first one picked out of that group of guys. And looks to be, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope they come to some sort of thing, but I know it don't look that way from right now. But looks like to me, man, his career might be over the quickest. People got to make better decisions. Endangered her life as well. And ain't nothing really you can say about that, man. So Henry Ruggs involved in one two-car accident early this morning, and my mama told me growing up, ain't nothing but the devil out past midnight. But I know they in Vegas, and I know that's a city that never sleeps, so I understand that. But that's what they always told me. And I tell my son the same thing, dude. Ain't nothing good happening after 2 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nothing good happening. Everything happening after 2 o'clock in the morning is not good. And I stand by that. But you just got to make better decisions. You have to understand there's other people that you have harmed them. Not only like his own family, because they have to deal with the scrutiny and of all of this and stuff like that. But you took a family member from somebody. And then, like I said, your family, all of that support capital they put into you, all these people, these football players, they go back and they buy their mama and daddy houses and take care of them for all the love and support they gave them all these years and stuff like that. Man, you got to play 1 year and get a chance to get that second contract. Like I said, I am not saying his career is over. I'm just saying, when you done this and this has been publicized as much as it is, it's going to be tough for another team to want to even touch it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But that's the news. And as of like 8:30 this afternoon, Central Standard Time, the Raiders have released Henry Ruggs. So, it's the public relations hit on that. They're not willing to stand behind him in this regard. So what does this leave Henry? So anyhow, other news. This is not a trade news, but it's sort of like it's a sad also. Green Bay Packers made a low-risk gamble signing Jaylon Smith from the Cowboys. And as of today, they have released Jaylon Smith after having gotten him back in early October, 4 weeks after the acquisition. They had pulled the plug. He was logged in 4 games. He logged a total of 27 snaps. But when he was inactive for the Arizona Cardinals game Thursday night, so it's like the writing was on the wall. Green Bay was down like 11 starters in that game, and he was inactive. So that should have told you that he was not in their plans. They either didn't see something they liked in his practice, and that just leads me to believe that the last couple of years with the Cowboys, he was just out. He was just playing. He really wasn't good. And if the Packers, who need help, linebacker help, and he's just not good enough. And he got a former coach at Notre Dame on the staff, which not on the staff. He's the head coach. Matt LaFleur was like the offensive coordinator on the Notre Dame team that he was on when he was in college. So that's kind of where he got the inside track, get that position there. So sad day, and I just kind of fell out of favor with him as a player, but as a dude, Jaylon Smith. Now those things we were talking about with Ruggs just a minute ago. Jaylon Smith would never put himself in a position like that. Okay, because I in the times I've studied him and watched him and all of his charitable contributions and the mentorships he's done to disadvantaged businesses and and those sorts of things, helping a lot of minorities and stuff get businesses and deals and these types of things. He's plugged into a lot of things. He's helped a lot of people, and he's always been a stand-up guy. Everybody would say, man, that's one of the best dudes you want in your corner. So I sure hope he does land on his feet. I was just kind of out on him as a linebacker talent for the Cowboys, and I just thought that he was hurting them more than he was helping them. And I thought Jerry just kept him around because he liked him as he's a good character dude, good dude. He just wasn't playing well. So that's all I got for today. Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. From the trade news and all of the trade that is enacted and the trades that didn't happen and some of the cuts and then some of the off the field stuff. Some stuff is okay, and then some stuff you just have to shake your head on, man. It's just, hate to be the reporter or being the bearer of bad news sometimes, but that's the cross we bear. But that's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred on this day, November 2nd, 2021. I will continue to give you all the news and updates in the world of the NFL as I know it. I promise to give you the best content and give you a little editorial and a little commentary every now and then, because that's what Uncle Fred do. That's just Uncle Fred's way. Okay, don't mean no harm. I have opinions, and I'll try to share them. But that's all I got. Good night. God bless, and we'll catch you on the next video.